Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Alexis Mac Allister change now clear as Liverpool approach contract decision. Federico Chiesa deserves Mohamed Salah place as Liverpool told to open talks. Jeremy Frimpong makes annoying admission as Arne Slot forced to take Liverpool risk. Now details. For a bubbling, expectant Anfield came the cue to finally begin celebrating. And it was wholly appropriate Alexis Mac Allister was the one to get the party truly started. Requiring victory over Tottenham Hotspur back in April to seal a record-equalling 20th championship with games to spare, Liverpool had fallen behind to an early strike from former striker Dominic Solanke before swiftly levelling through Luis Diaz. And the crowd was still bouncing from the Colombian's equaliser when Ryan Gravenberch won possession on the edge of the Tottenham area and rolled the ball back invitingly for Mac Allister to try his luck from 20 yards. Visiting goalkeeper Guglielmo Vicario didn't even see it, Mac Allister's shot smashing into the top corner to spark a celebration that carried on long after the final whistle had been blown on an eventual 5-1 triumph. The Argentina international had already proven in his debut season at Liverpool that the initial £35 million spent to take him from Brighton in the summer of 2023 was a bargain to rank alongside the canniest transfer deals in the club's history. But in helping Arne Slot's side claim the title, Mac Allister, already a World Cup winner in 2022, cemented himself as one of the finest midfielders on the planet. Yet that wild, emotional Anfield afternoon now represents something of a line in the sand for the player, who turned 27 on Christmas Eve. Mac Allister failed to start any of the final 4 games of last season. As it emerged, he had been nursing an injury that ultimately forced him out of Argentina's summer internationals, with a period of rest considered sufficient to solve the issue in time for pre-season. Except it didn't, and with Mac Allister having then had his preparations disrupted, he was one of several Liverpool squad members playing catch-up in terms of fitness and sharpness during the opening months of the campaign. It hasn't been a straightforward task, although it is perhaps surprising to discover the only one of Liverpool's 26 games this season the midfielder has sat out through injury was the 3-2 win at Newcastle United back in August. He was also rested for the League Cup triumph over Southampton. There has been the occasional high point, most notably the headed winner against Real Madrid in the Champions League in November. But with just 2 assists, Mac Allister isn't contributing where it matters most and still too often appears a little off the pace. In fairness, his durability has improved in recent weeks, having played the full 90 minutes in 6 of the last 8 games without any obvious ill effects. And he is having to adjust to a change in position. Last season's title challenge was forged on the defensive midfield pivot of Mac Allister and Gravenberch, but the duo started together only 6 times before November, with Liverpool attempting to accommodate £116 M Florian Wirtz in a new-look engine room, while also making room for this season's stellar performer so far Dominic Szoboszlai. And the upturn in form over the past few weeks has coincided with Mac Allister operating in the number 10 role ahead of Gravenberch and Curtis Jones, albeit with inconsistent individual results. The player, though, remains an important cog for Reds boss Slot, not least due to his versatility. With Mac Allister, who became a father for the first time in September, now halfway through the 5-year contract signed on his arrival, Liverpool will be keen to begin concrete talks over a new deal, particularly with European Super League advocates Real Madrid reported long-time suitors. The more immediate focus, though, will be on again unlocking the full potential of the Argentine. With work to do in both the Premier League and Champions League this season, Slot is going to need his midfield talisman back firing as soon as possible. Federico Chiesa deserves Mohamed Salah place, as Liverpool told to open talks. Arne Slot has been urged to give Federico Chiesa a run in the Liverpool team, in place of the absent Mohamed Salah. But the Egyptian has been back to finish the season strongly at Anfield, after reconciling with the Reds boss following his explosive comments earlier this month. Salah is presently with Egypt at the Africa Cup of Nations and scored a dramatic late winner in their group opener against Zimbabwe on Monday. With the competition running until late January, the 33-year-old could miss up to 8 games for a Liverpool team already grappling with a host of absentees, including Alexander Isak, who suffered a fractured left leg against Tottenham Hotspur last weekend. In the first match without Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai started on the right flank, but picked up a booking that means he is suspended for Saturday's visit of rock-bottom Wolves. And when asked who should now replace Salah, former Liverpool midfielder Joe Cole has singled out a player who hasn't made a Premier League start all season. Federico Chiesa probably deserves a run in the team, said Cole. This might be his opportunity off that right side if he can keep himself fit. Every time I see him play, he seems like the type of player I'd like to have played with. Outside of the current squad, Desire Dow at PSG, another winger who can play either side. First things first though, you need to sit down with Mo Salah and work out what he wants to do, and whether he'll be important for you from February onwards. Liverpool's 2-1 win at Tottenham extended their unbeaten run to 6 games, none of which Salah has started. Having remained on the bench for the 3-3 draw at Leeds United earlier this month, the winger claimed he had no relationship with Slot and claimed he was being scapegoated for the Reds' poor form. Salah was subsequently dropped for the Champions League win at Inter, but held clear-the-air talks with the Liverpool boss before coming off the bench to play the majority of the 2-0 Premier League home win over Brighton before heading to the AFCON. And Cole, speaking exclusively to Paddy Power, said, "Things can be mended. He needs to go away to AFCON, play and fight for his country, then when he comes back get his head switched on for Liverpool and make a fresh start." He seems to have cleared things up with the manager, and I think it's a good time to have had that little spat, and I have no problems with apologies being made. If I'm Arne Slot, I want Mo Salah firing on all cylinders. If he sat down with him and figured out he still wants to be here, then he needs to help him get his fire back. Jeremy Frimpong makes annoying admission as Arne Slot forced to take Liverpool risk. Arne Slot will face something of a selection dilemma when Liverpool welcome Wolverhampton Wanderers to Anfield on Saturday. The Reds down to the bare bones after Alexander Isak became their latest player to succumb to injury. Slot could be left without as many as 8 senior first-team players, with Mohamed Salah now away at the Africa Cup of Nations, Dominic Szoboszlai set to serve a 1-game ban, and both Isak and Connor Bradley joining Giovanni Liani, Cody Gakpo, Wataru Endo and Joe Gomez on the club's injury list after limping off in the win over Tottenham Hotspur. Admittedly, Liverpool's woes could have eased up slightly come the weekend with a little bit of luck. Speaking at his pre-match press conference on Tuesday, Slot revealed that Bradley and Gakpo were at least rated at 50-50 to take part. "Connor will be 50-50. He's not training with us today, Tuesday, not tomorrow, Christmas Eve," he said. "So Friday we will see exactly where he is and if he can be in the squad for the weekend. Joe won't be available, Wata won't be available, and Cody is a bit similar to Connor." Such absences will leave the Reds short defensively though, with Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate remaining Slot's only available senior options at centre-back. Likewise, the absence of Gomez and Szoboszlai, along with the question mark having over Bradley's head, will also leave Liverpool short at right-back. Jeremy Frimpong returned from a hamstring injury after a 2-month layoff against Tottenham and set up the winning goal for Hugo Ekitike, but the wing-back was introduced at right-wing, with Szoboszlai dropping back to right-back following the enforced withdrawal of Bradley. The Netherlands international was then taken off himself late on with a facial injury, though Slot insists Frimpong will be fine to not only face, but to start against Wolves too. That's just as well, given the Reds' absences elsewhere, but where exactly to field him is another issue entirely. With Bradley an injury doubt, right-back would be the obvious choice. Yet with Salah at AFCON and Szoboszlai suspended, Slot will need to select a new right-winger to face the Premier League strugglers too. Curtis Jones or Calvin Ramsey could be turned to in defence, while Federico Chiesa is also an alternative in attack. Frimpong is at least ready to step in and make up for lost time, having been limited to just 114 minutes of Premier League action since joining the club, as he shared his delight at returning to action against Spurs. "I'm just going to be ready for whatever comes," he told the club. "As a footballer you should be ready for any situation, so if I can help the team in any way possible, that's what I'm going to do. It felt really good to be back out there with the boys and to win as well, so it was a good comeback, I really enjoyed it. Obviously injury in football is really annoying. I think it's the worst thing in football, that and losing, but it's part of football. I'm focused, I'm back now so I'm happy to be back." But while Frimpong might be fit enough to start, expecting him to come through a full 90 minutes, in whichever position, after such a lengthy layoff following his second hamstring injury of the season, is also a big ask. And with Liverpool down to potentially just 11 available senior outfield players, it reiterates the selection dilemma Slot will be facing over the festive period. Having already admitted the Reds' current situation will force him to take a bit more risk. In the weekend Frimpong was on a maximum of 30 minutes because he has been out for quite long, he said. I think he is able to start this weekend if I make that decision. Sometimes situations change, so you need to take a bit more risk than you would maybe usually do if everyone was available. So that's what I mean. The players that are available have to roll their sleeves up, including our fans, to get the best possible chance of a good outcome in the upcoming 2 games. That's for him the same as the others. Frimpong is ready to answer that call, with his return coming at the perfect time for Liverpool and Slot, too. One only hopes such enforced risks do not backfire, given the Reds' already existing current frailties. Yet such absences admittedly leave Slot with little alternative. His compatriot has not actually started in the Premier League since making his English top-flight debut against AFC Bournemouth on the opening day of the season. On that occasion, he was forced off on the hour mark when suffering his first hamstring injury. As a result, the former Bayer Leverkusen man's 30-minute showing against Spurs is actually his second longest appearance in the Premier League, though both player and club will hope that is no longer the case following the final whistle Wolves' visit to Anfield. And having set up the winner against Spurs, supporters will hope that it is a sign of things to come from Frimpong, with the Dutchman now set to be given the opportunity to kickstart his Liverpool career once and for all. But which position he will be utilised in remains to be seen.